Okay, so in Enshrouded, I know a lot of people are looking really forward to building their own dwarven, castle, dwarven fortress, hobbit hole, underground lair, whatever you want to do. But it can seem very daunting at first, so I'm going to try to give you some ways to actually just speed it up as an early game. Now, when you've only got this little stone pickaxe, the idea of trying to mine any amount with this as like an actual home can seem very daunting. Now, with the upgraded picks, yeah, sure, you can do it very much quickly. You've got plenty of stamina. You can just go to town on it. But, like I said, early on, you just don't have all that. Now, all you're really going to need for this is a construction hammer and 2 flame altars. Now, there's a secondary method. I do recommend using it if you want a more, like, lined up, perfectly symmetrical design. And you're going to need a workbench and some rough wood. Or rough stone. Really doesn't matter. Just a lot of cheap blocks. Now, you're also going to want at least 2 normal torches. I'm going to use standing torches. Simply because it films better and it's easier to see. Now, I'm going to drag these into my bar. Now, step 1, I'm going to try to get this flame up as close to the wall as I can. Now, the reason I'm doing this is I am actually going to use the first flame to cut a hole into the wall, then delete it, and then actually build a second flame inside the cliffside. So, all we're going to do now is we're going to come to our hammer. Now, you can come to this thing called terraforming. And this will allow you to very quickly and easily just cut things out of stone. It'll cut any normal material. So dirt it will cut, stone it will cut. It will not cut, say, flint or something along those lines. You can also replace materials if you actually don't like it. But as you can see, I'm going to be able to do this with no tools whatsoever. It doesn't take any stamina. I'm actually getting a little bit of the materials back. It doesn't give full materials back, though. So you wouldn't want to, say, try to strip mine something with this. But it creates this kind of very solid, squared off mining tunnel. Now, if you're looking for a more natural design, you can actually just come in with your stone pickaxe, give it a couple whacks. It'll kind of rough it up, make it a little bit more like someone actually cut into it if you're looking for that really, handmade look. But I'm not going to do too of that much on that because it takes up a lot of time and you just don't want to watch me do that. Now, the second method, which is the more do very quickly, is this. If you've got wood blocks or any other type of blocks, the game doesn't mention this, but it actually destroys the terrain underneath it when you place it. So you can actually build one of these frames here. The first one here under the... Once I've placed the ceiling on the floor, to use that as a guide line, now I could do 2 of these stacks. And I have got already a pretty good chunk of area that I could be living in within no time at all. I get my materials back as I do this. Now this is where the torches come in. Now, if you've got this, you could just throw it down. But for sake of sanity, we're going to use these just because it's bigger and nicer to see. Now, I'm going to just keep doing this in a straight line. Right there until it says needs building area. I'm going to remove the last block. Come back to the entrance. Extinguish the flame. Now, in 30 seconds, that's going to disappear. And I'm going to come farther back. And now I'm going to have this new location. Look, I've got a much nicer, larger, way back deeper design that I can now work with. Now I can comfortably just start expanding. Now, one thing to know, you could theoretically build down. So you want to use ceilings as your floor inside of a cave, not actually the foundations. At which point you can just come in here. Put down my crafting bench. As you can see, I can build some. Not going to press this too many times too quickly because that's a pain to listen to. But now I've got with. I could just sit there, make myself a nice little dwarf fortress door. Let's say I want to make it look more like it's, you know, starts back a bit. One thing that is nice about this game is it does not actually detect all the time when you actually see if it's not actually telling me I can't place the. I don't have enough bricks, so I'm not going to replace it right now. But for all intents and purposes, you're looking at now the ability to build. I mean, within explaining it in this, I've already created quite a large underground area. You can see that is actually the limit of the basic build zone. I could just sit here and teleport, and I would just show up right here next to my flame. And with that, I hope this helped, and I hope it makes being a little bit of a dwarf and goofing around a little bit more fun. And just really get out there, build some crazy stuff, enjoy the game. And with that, I hope y'all have a great week.